My name is Kelvin Costa. I'm the master of ceremony for this afternoon. You know, when Brother Johnson asked me would I perform this task, at that time it seemed like a good idea. But now that the moment has come, I'm having second thoughts.
Stay here though.
But this is indeed an honor to have you in our midst. We appreciate you taking time out of your many activities to join us this afternoon. We want to make you comfortable and entertain you so that you can say, it has been good for me to be here, and I'm glad I came. Anticipating your coming for several weeks, our minds have been very busy thinking and planning to that end. That your coming to us on this grand occasion would be one of your fondest experiences. Life brings us many opportunities to serve. And we feel that the 100 Black Men of America is an opportunity to serve our community. It is an opportunity to serve our God. We hope and pray that each of you will enjoy this affair. Not all you are born with privilege and opportunities or a positive network. Some are raised throughout their lives thinking that they'll never be able to live the life they want. This is because of their environment and the people who they surround themselves with every single day. The overall concept of the 100 Black Men began in 1963 in New York when a group of concerned African-American men began to meet to explore ways of improving conditions in their community. On October the 2nd, 1986, representatives from 100 Black Men chapters converged in Washington, D.C. for a final meeting to establish a national organization. During previous meetings, they determined the structure, governance, and model that would provide the most effective physical and financial resources to support communities and chapters. At the final gathering, the organization named the 100 Black Men of America Incorporated was unveiled. Enough of that. What? Anyway, I'm going to get out the way so we can move on with this program. But I don't know, it came to mind, story. A woman got on a bus with her baby. The bus driver says, that's the ugliest baby I ever seen. The woman walked to the rear of the bus and sat down fuming. She says to the man next to her, the driver just insulted me. The man says, you should go up there and tell him off, and I'll hold this monkey for you. Anyway, that's another story for us. But we welcome you here, we're glad you're here. And now we will proceed with the program as written. Welcoming remarks by Mr. Rodney McCrory. Okay, here he comes. All right.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Give yourself a round of applause. I know they're working on the mic, but I think I'm going to try to operate my voice where you can hear me both sides. Hear me well. Outstanding. Always a good brother in the room, so thank you so much. So I am Dr. Rodney McCrory, business professor at Fayetteville State University, where I serve as assistant professor of management and assistant department chair. And it's an honor to be here in these shoes and stand on the shoulders of these founding members of this great 100 of the Cape Fear region. To our distinguished guests and their tremendous community of family, friends, and our mentees that you see throughout the facility here. But before I continue, I always want to do, because charity starts at home, I want to recognize my wonderful wife, Yolanda, and a portion of our children. Carson, just wave your hand. All right, thank you so much. As a point of personal privilege, please join me in recognizing our president, Reverend Dr. Jamel Johnson. This impressive planning committee and members of the Cape Fear region for organizing such a well-deserved 25-year celebration. Also to our chartering members and past presidents, if you would, brothers all, just please stand and be recognized at this time. All brothers of the 100. My good brother in the back, Pastor Pam, how you doing, sir? Good. All right, so as we continue, we celebrate today and onward because of our capacity to educate, elevate, and empower its members, our youth, and our communities. We believe the only way to keep pace with the current level of change is through constant learning and adapting. The 100 in its origin, you heard from my brother Colson, was founded in 1963. We are all challenged to invest in America's future by mentoring youth. Our valuable pillars are economic development, education enrichment, leadership development, health, and wellness. The 100 has proved these standards by our respect for families, spirituality, justice, and integrity. Millennials, you see here in the room, currently make up the largest portion of our workforce today. The data and the research tells us that 79% of millennials see mentoring as crucial to their success. 63% claim their leadership skills aren't being developed yet. 87% of mentors and mentees feel empowered by their mentoring relationship and develop greater confidence. 89% of our mentees go on to mentor someone themselves and contribute to a culture of learning. But as a result of the Cape Fear region's access and success, it has given me the honor of serving as campus advisor for the Collegiate 100 at the Fayetteville State University. This exceptional group and a few FSU student leaders have joined us today, so if you would please stand and be recognized at this time. Our Collegiate 100 at Fayetteville State, as well as our student leaders and ambassadors. Thank you so much. As a testament of my personal experience, I joined the 100 because mentoring is what I do in my everyday vocation. The late Thomas W. Deutsch Jr., past national president of the 100, stated, and I quote, "When you give of your time, experience, and wisdom to a young person, you're sowing seeds of pride." Not only pride, but confidence, but not only confidence, but accomplishments. That being said, to family and friends, we welcome you to a day of celebration as we journey toward another 25 years of leadership and mentorship. Our motto is, what they see is what they'll be. Again, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. McCrory. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Once again, we want to thank all of you and welcome all of you for being here. Thank you for accepting the invitation of the Cape Fear Region chapter of the 100 Black Men of America. This year rather, celebrates 25 years of existence as a chapter. And as you have already heard, what the 100 does is mentor. That is what we do as a national organization. You'll see behind me a mirror. The 100 Black Men's motto is, what they see is what they will be. Before you leave today, I would challenge all of you to come by and look in that mirror. Because you do influence someone. Whether you know it or not, you may say, well, I've had my years, I've had my time. Not until the Lord calls you, you still have time. Which means somebody is looking at you. They're watching you, they're observing you. So what they see is what they will be. So we all are mentors. Nationally, as an organization, the 100 Black Men work with corporate sponsors like IKEA, Wells Fargo, State Farm, Coca-Cola, Delta. These corporate organizations help to sponsor what the 100 does nationally. So for example, chapters across the country, there are 102 chapters across the country, local chapters. And so, for example, chapters will have an academy, a Saturday academy, where they mentor young people. Part of that academy is local chapters applying for grants that come down from the national office. For example, Dollars and Cents Youth Investment Program, which teaches young people financial literacy. It is a curriculum that young people go through. For example, Wells Fargo Hands-On Banking. This is a program also designed to teach young people financial literacy and financial terms. So that is how the 100 local chapters are able to do their work. They receive corporate sponsorships to be able to carry out the work. The Cape Fear region has what we know as the E.E. Smith Academy. We are seeking now to broaden that academy, and we are expanding now to Douglasburg Middle and Douglasburg High School. So the 100 has a lot of work to do, and if you are here today and a male and you would like to join in the mentoring, we invite you to be a part of the Cape Fear Region 100 chapter to help do the work of mentoring young men and women. So again, I want to say thank you for being here. While I'm standing, you've already seen the men of the Cape Fear region. We also like to recognize their wives. All the wives of the members of the Cape Fear region, would you all stand? We also like to recognize any clergy. All clergy, would you please stand? Thank you all for being here. E9 representatives, would you please stand? All educators, Would you stand? And all veterans, would you stand? Now, everybody give yourself a hand for being here. Thank you and enjoy your meeting.
Follow the program as printed, but I'm back. Ms. Council, are you in the room? Okay, as you make your way on up here. Right. She's the head of the Collegiate 100.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me? All right. So I hope you're doing well on this fine day. So first, I would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation from the Collegiate 100 to the 100 Black men of America, because we are very grateful that ever since January we have been working on restarting the Collegiate 100 at Fayetteville State with Dr. McCory and Dr. Oleon, and we are really grateful and that we were able to accomplish these few tasks that I'm about to list. So, we have the installation of officers, the President, myself, Talia Council, Vice President Sharita Jean-Francois, Secretary, Chair of Membership, and Miss Collegiate 100, Selma Keenan, Chair of Public Relations, Nadia Crosby, Treasurer, Amanda Ovesa, and Mr. Collegiate 100, Jalen Cantony. We meet twice a month and have grown to a total of 28 members. We participated in the Fall 2023 Club and Organizations Fair. We started our Collegiate 100 Instagram page called @collegiate100.faystate. And we had our interest meeting Friday, September 29th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Our Mr. and Miss Collegiate 100 represented us well in the homecoming coronation and parade, and we also collaborated with the Bronco Ambassadors for game night and participated in the mayoral candidate debate. We have some upcoming events and programs, the 100 Academy Financial Literacy Program, Hands-on Banking and Dollars and Cents with E.E. Smith and Upward Bound. We will have an induction ceremony in the spring and many more events and meetings to come next semester. Again, we want to thank you all so much for helping us this year and hopefully many more years to come. Again, thank you.
Wait.
Y'all give Brother Coke some ahead.
These guys are ganging up on me. Huh? These brothers are ganging up on me. I was in Food Line the other day, and I ran into an old friend. I asked him, say, how you been? How you been? You doing all right? He said, yeah, I'm doing much better now that I've got my hearing aid. I said, your hearing aid? He said, yeah, man. I got a hearing aid. It was engineered at MIT, constructed at MIT, sent down to NASA to be calibrated, and it's the best hearing aid in the world. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, what kind is it? He said, 8:45.
Thank you, Brother. We'll be sure to keep you around. At this time, we want to recognize the founders of the 100. And the person that we have invited to do that is Dr. Liddell Oleon. Dr. Liddell Oleon has been around for the 25 years. He was the founding president and he served for 10 years. He has been active with the 100, financially active with the 100 for those 25 years. But not only locally at the Cape Fear region level, nationally, he is recognized at the national level. Everybody knows him when he walks into the room at the national level, Dr. Liddell Oleon. And so he has a reputation that does precede him. He has done a lot of great things. So he is one that can look in the mirror. One can look in the mirror and see a good mentor. And that is in the person of Liddell Oleon. And he's going to come and introduce our founders to you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. The check is in the mail. Well, in 1998, we started the Cape Fear Region Chapter of 100 Black Men of America here in the Fayetteville area. We had 63 members when we started this organization here in Fayetteville. As of today, 21 of our brothers are now deceased. Currently, we have 42 brothers that were a part of our original 63 founding members. Now I'm going to introduce those members that are here. Their resumes are long, and I know I don't have time. I'm just going to say a few things about each of them. So the first person I'd like to come forward is Mr. Kelvin Coaxum. Yeah, Brother Coaxum is a graduate of Benedict College in Fayetteville State. He was our founding treasurer. He is the former director of career planning and placement at FSU. He also was our educational leader out here at Fort Bragg in regards to working with many of our soldiers here at Fort Liberty. He's an entrepreneur, and he's involved in just a number of endeavors here in the Fayetteville area, such as First Baptist Trustee Board. Yeah. Brother Kelvin Coaxum. Mr. Jimmy Harvey. Brother Harvey? I didn't see you there, brother. Okay. He's a graduate of Winston-Salem State University, and he is Mr. E.E. Smith Deluxe. Yes. He's a businessman, and he's a supreme dancer. But the great thing about Brother Harvey is he's always helping someone. Always. Brother Jimmy Harvey. Mr. Alfred Jones. He's a graduate, correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Jones, of Pembroke State University. Yes. And he's a past Internal Revenue agent. He's currently a CPA, and he's part of what I call the Alfred Jones Academy. He has this big building and this big business, but he's a deluxe business person and a pillar in the Fayetteville State community. Dr. Paris Jones. Undergraduate degree is from Fayetteville State. And Dr. Jones, I think you received your doctorate from UNC Greensboro. He's the former Associate Superintendent of Cumberland County Schools. I know he's been a principal. And he's currently the chair of the Ed Leadership Department at FSU. And of course, most of you know, this is the department that graduates all of those doctorates at FSU. And it's under Dr. Paris Jones' leadership. Dr. Perry Massey is Dr. Massey is a graduate of Virginia State University. Oh, North Carolina Children. I'm sorry, I messed that up then. Okay. Where you gonna be from? Okay, all right. So he also, I do know you graduated from Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts. He is the former dean and provost and vice president of academic affairs at FSU. And he's always trying to help someone. And he's a great cake and dessert maker, and he's a great cook, Dr. Perry Bassett. Colonel Donald Porter, retired, graduate of the Norfolk State University. Oh, ready to go. He was a person that I thought, in my meeting him, I didn't know if he knew how to drive a car. And by that I mean, whenever we came to Fort Bragg, he always had a driver, somebody to drive him here and drive him there. But I understand when he retired, he got in a car and he didn't know what to do. But Colonel Porter is a great warrior. He served on just a number of committees at the FSU. He serves as the chairman of the Board of Trustees, and currently he is the chair of the Fayetteville Public Works Commissions. So don't ask him about your bills and things like that, but anyway. But he's also recently received an award from President Biden. And what was it?
Lifetime award for community service.
From President Biden. Mr. Carlton Wyatt. Brother Wyatt? He's a graduate of Savannah State University. He's a former registrar at FSU. Brother Wyatt was the mainstay here at Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty here in running the educational program. So, we work with a lot of the soldiers here, and really they've done a great job in making sure that they receive their degrees and move forward. So Wyatt is very much involved in running various programs, educational programs. He's now a contractor here in Fayetteville. He's also on the Board of Trustees at Fayetteville State University. So you have here, my friends, our founding members who are still present. So let's give them a round of applause.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Join me in a word of prayer. Most kind and gracious God, our Maker and Creator, we pause to say thank you for all that you have done for us. Thank you, Lord, for 25 years of mentorship, economic empowerment, wealth and health and wellness, educational enrichment. You said in your word, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper. Lord, continue to allow us to be an example to the young women. Allow your light to shine upon this chapter and his organization so that the world can see excellence in the black community. God, lastly, we ask that you would bless the food that we're going to receive. Allow it to be a nourishment to our bodies. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Here you go. All right. This couple was walking down the street. I Okay, I quit.
Okay, one more. This is it. This 60-year-old couple was walking down the street. And out from behind the bushes came a genie. And the genie said, I'm gonna grant each of you one wish. So the wife said, I want health, happiness, and this crick to get out my knee. The genie waved his wand, and her leg got better. He asked the husband, what do you want? He said, I want a woman 30 years younger than me. So the genie waved his wand, and he was 90 years old.
How's everyone doing this afternoon?
Good evening.
Hey, let's get another hand clap today for today's ceremony. 25 years Hey, my name is Jabbar Searles. I'm the secretary for our local chapter here in Fayetteville, and I've been tasked to introduce our guest speaker for this evening, or this afternoon, I'm sorry. So I asked him when he was coming in if there was any key areas that he wanted me to hit on his bio as far as introducing him, and he pretty much told me no. The only thing I need to cover was that he enjoys helping, assisting folks across the street. So that's all I'm going to give you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and step out of the way and let our guest speaker come up this afternoon. Well, let's, on the serious note, hold on one second. Keith Ivory Milner is the founder, along with his wife, Charmaine, of Coaching Catalyst. He has an MBA in marketing from UNC School of Business. He's an executive coach, consultant, author, speaker, entrepreneur, and community leader. His objective is to co-create rapid, sustainable, measurable change that enables his clients to go beyond their perceived limits. His unique approach to counseling is powered by integrating decades of practical real-world experience with research validated through methodology. He designs and delivers customized engagements that are transformative. Keith's personal statement is to be a change agent, equipping people with mental, spiritual, and the physical tools they will need to find their purpose. His community and nonprofit leadership includes serving as Chairman 100 Black Men of Atlanta, Leadership Institute Committee Chair, 100 Black Men of America, Commissioner for Housing Authority of Fulton County, National Black MBA Association Atlanta Chapter, Leadership Atlanta Alumni Class of 2018, and United Way of America VIP Alumni. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to our guest speaker this evening as I present to some and introduce to others today's guest speaker, Mr. Keith Ivory Milner.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you really enjoyed that great lunch and the great musical selection. My wife tells me that I am the world's worst joke teller, and that I do not have a sense of humor that anybody else appreciates other than me. And she's probably right, but I've been inspired. And I believe that one of the great attributes of people who are trying to grow and improve is to take a risk. Right? You gotta get outside of your comfort zone. I'm gonna try this. Be gentle with me, right? All right. So there was a very attractive, wealthy widow, and she was lonely. And so she decided to put an ad in the paper that read thus: looking for a vibrant, older gentleman who will not beat me, who will not run around on me, and must be good in bed. So she put the ad in the paper. A couple of days goes by, her doorbell rings. She goes to the door, she answers, and there sitting in a wheelchair is a gentleman with no arms and no legs. And she said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Yes, I'm here. I'm responding to your ad." And she said, "Sir, you must be mistaken. There's clearly a miscommunication here. And I don't know what's going on with the feedback." I think that's the voice of God telling me not to go forward. That's my wife talking, right? I'm going to ignore that. Sometimes God whispers to you, and sometimes he shouts. So I don't know which one this is. So the gentleman says, "Well, you said you didn't want anybody to beat you up or abuse you. I don't have any arms." She said, "Well, got a point there. You said you don't want anybody that's going to run around on you. I don't have any legs." The widow started to think, "Then you got another point there." And she said, "But there was a third part in that ad that I had." And he said, "I rang the doorbell, didn't I?"
That was a good one.
Well, it is truly an honor and a pleasure to stand before you today. I am a native of North Carolina. I grew up in a little farming community called Reedsville, North Carolina, which is about 2 hours north of here, I think, as a crow flies. I matriculated from Guilford College down to UNC Chapel Hill, where I got my MBA. And I am also a PhD student right now at Clark College, Clark Atlanta University. Thank you very much. So I've been asked to talk about mentorship and leadership, mentoring our future youth leaders. So I'm going to do a bit of a historical perspective because I believe there's a lot of rich history that we can live on and we can learn from as we think about what we're doing today and what we want to do going forward. So I'm going to talk about some notable African American leaders and their mentors who have left an indelible mark on our country and, quite frankly, the world, who overcame formidable obstacles and who are paving or have paved the path for people like you around this room, as well as our founders for the Cape Fear region. These are individuals that I have dubbed, FBI. I put these people in the FBI. Does anybody know what FBI stands for? No. FBI stands for First Black In. First Black In. And almost every single day, we as a people are continuing to break boundaries and set history by being the first Black In. Okay? So before I go any further, I'm going to pose a question to you. Now, I recognize that some of the things that I'm going to say to the young folk, you guys are going to be scratching your head like, okay, what is this old guy talking about, right? But trust me, I'm going to bring this home. Some of you more seasoned saints will be able to keep up with me because a lot of my references, I think, are part of your generation. So here's the question. I'm going to pose this question now, and I want you to think about it as I go through the remainder of my remarks. If you see a turtle on a fence post, what is the only thing that you know for certain? I'm going to look up now. No, don't answer. Just think about it. Okay. For my collegiate 100, maybe some have some emerging 100, some younger folks, I'm going to repeat it. If you see a turtle on a fence post, what is the only thing you know for certain? Okay, put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that. All right? So let's start with, again, some history. I'm going to go way back on it. What is the origin of the word mentor. All right, we talk about mentors and mentorship, but have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is the origin of the word mentor? Well, according to historians, mentor is a Greek word from the famous epic poem by Homer, the Odyssey. The main character in the Odyssey was an individual named Odysseus. Odysseus was a statesman, he was a father, and when the Trojan War came, he was called to go fight in the Trojan War. Odysseus had a son. His son was Telemachus. Telemachus. And Odysseus was smart enough and wise enough to know that he was going to be away for a long time, he didn't want to leave the maturation and the development of his son to chance. And so he asked his best friend if he would come and guide and encourage and train his son, Telemachus. That gentleman's name was Mentor. Mentor was Odysseus' best friend. So from that, that's how we got the word mentor. So what is a mentor? A mentor is someone who guides, who shares knowledge, wisdom, experience, and culture to the next generation. And as you've heard, one of the pillars, if not the most important pillar, of the 100 Black Men of America is mentorship. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated and focused on enhancing and improving the lives of African American youth, particularly inner city, primarily through mentorship. So that's the origin of that word, mentor, all right? Now, when you think about great leaders, we oftentimes default to famous people. We oftentimes think about politicians or sports figures or singers or whatever. But I would challenge you to think about other people in your life, people that you've known, perhaps relatives, who have been mentors to you. I will tell you that, one of my most effective mentors was my parents. And why was that? Because I watched them every day, how they conducted their lives. That mirror, right? They got up every day, they went to work, they paid their bills, they gave back to the community, they made their tithes at church, they set standards of excellence for me and my sister. From the first grade until I graduated with my master's, I did not miss one day of school. 15 years, so 15 years, I did not miss one day of school. And you might say, wow, that's impressive, how did that happen? Well, in my household, your butt got up every morning and went to school. It didn't matter if you had a tummy ache. It didn't matter if you stayed up late the night before. My mama didn't play. And I've got the certificates of attendance somewhere in a box at home to prove it, right? But point being is that mentors are all around you, right? But we're gonna talk about some famous people today, because I think it's important for us to be mindful of all the great African Americans that have come before us and some that are still with us today, and the different types of leadership and the mentors that they have as a lesson in terms of what we can take away from Black excellence, okay? So I'm going to start with the world of academia, right? And one of my favorites is Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. Now, Dr. Du Bois was the first, here he is, here we go again, it's the FBI. He was the first African American to get a PhD from Harvard. Harvard, right, okay? But he was also noted because he was one of the founders of NAACP. All right, guys, this is this little, call and response I'm trying to do here, right? So, if you know the answer to these questions, help me out, blurt them out here, okay? Dr. Ruth Simmons. Dr. Ruth Simmons, African-American female educator, the first Black female president of an Ivy League school. Anybody know the school? Brown University. There you go. We're starting to warm up. I'm trying to keep you guys awake. I know we just had lunch. I'm trying to keep you awake. Okay. Let's move to the world of medicine. Dr. Charles Drew. Dr. Charles Drew pioneered blood transfusion. Now I want you to stop and think about this for a minute. How many hundreds of thousands of lives were saved by Dr. Charles Drew's invention of blood transfusion. I don't know how many of you have had the unfortunate circumstance of needing a blood transfusion, but we are on a military base and we fought a lot of different wars. Think about how many people would not be here today had it not been for the inventions and the thought leadership of Dr. Charles Drew. Now, speaking of military, and I'm trying not to leave out anybody, I think I found an example with every branch of the military except the Coast Guard. Y'all didn't know that I used Coast Guard as a branch of the military, did you? Keep you on your toes. All right. Since we are on an Army base, I'm going to start with General Colin Powell, the first African-American Joint Chiefs of Staff in the history of this country. Okay? Air Force, Colonel Guyon S. Bluford, the first African-American to travel in space. Okay? Navy, Admiral Michelle Howard, the first African-American to command a U.S. Navy ship and achieve the rank of a 4-star general. This is a black female, ladies and gentlemen, in the Navy. In the Navy, all right? Okay? And my favorite branch of the service, the Marines, General Frank E. Peterson, Jr., the first African-American corporate aviator and general. And you might ask, well, Keith, did you serve in the military? No, I did not have the honor of serving in the military. But the Marines are my favorite branch of the service because my father served in the Marines, and he was a Montford Point Marine. He served in World War II and was a Montford Point Marine. Anybody know the story of Montford Point? Okay. All right, for the young folks, all right, Montford Point was the segregated training facility for the Marines. So in World War II, when the Marines actually fought, black Africans fought in World War I, they fought in all the way back to the Civil War, the military service was still segregated. So white soldiers went one way, and African American soldiers went the other way, right? And so Montford Point was the training facility for the enlisted African American soldiers. And I think it was 2008, then President, or maybe 2009, then President Barack Obama bestowed the Congressional Medal of Honor, no, the Presidential Medal of Honor on all Montford Point Marines posthumously and those who were still living. And I will tell you guys, that was the proudest moment that I'd ever seen on my father's face, because he never would talk about his experience in World War II. I guess it was so traumatic for him, he never talked about it. But when I told him that I had submitted his name for recognition, every week, literally every week, boy, you done heard anything? Not Dad. It's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a minute. Next week, boy, did you hear anything? I said, Dad, I promise you, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But that just showed me, what an impact, his service had on him as a person, and I was so proud when he got that medal pinned on his chest. Okay. Okay. So let's kind of bring it to the little bit more current. I'm going to list a number of individuals. Again, some of these are more historical figures, and then some are going to be a little more current. And I want you to think about, and I'm going to ask you, if you know, great. If you don't know, that's okay, because I know. I'm going to tell you the answer. Mentors work. All right? Let's start with Muhammad Ali. Who was Muhammad Ali's mentor? Malcolm X. Okay? Congressman John Lewis. Who was his mentor? Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King. Ambassador Andrew Young. Who was his mentor? Maynard Jackson. Maynard Jackson. Okay? Everybody know who Maynard Jackson was? Mayor, five-time mayor of Atlanta. Did more to create black millionaires in Atlanta than anybody else. Right? Okay. I'm going to bring it a little more forward. Oprah Winfrey. Who was Oprah Winfrey's mentor? Maya Angelou. Very good. All right. For the folks over in the corner, Chadwick Boseman, a.k.a. Black Panther. Who was his mentor? Denzel Washington. Okay. Good. We're getting there. President Barack Obama. Who was his mentor? Dr. Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna bring it, come on, get a little closer. The first black female Supreme Court justice. Okay, shh, don't say anything. I want somebody from the Collegiate 100 tell me what's the name of the first black female Supreme Court justice? Come on now. Y'all should know this. Stand up. Somebody tell me. Stand up. I know you're back there Googling it. All right. Dr. Ketanji Brown Jackson. All right. Now, who was her mentor? Another venerable justice, Dr. Patty B. Saris, I'm sorry, S-A-R-I-S. All right, Dr. Patty B. Saris. Okay, Tiger Woods. Everybody knows who Tiger Woods is. Who was his mentor?
His father.
His dad, Earl Woods. There you go. Well, you know what? I had Clarence Thomas on the list, but since you brought him up, who was Clarence Thomas' mentor? Who mentored Clarence Thomas in his early years? Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall probably turned it over in his grave one day. I'm going to keep it. Not going to go political here. Okay. Robert Smith. Anybody know who Robert Smith is? No, not that Robert Smith. Say again? No, not that Robert Smith. It's a common name. Okay, Robert Smith is the wealthiest African American in the United States. Robert Smith is an entrepreneur. He's a venture capitalist. He owns Equity Vista Partners. His net worth is reported as of this morning when I checked the Forbes list at roughly $9.2 billion. That's B with the billion, right? $9.2 billion, right?
Used to own the Bobcats.
Whole lot of money. That's long money where I come from.
Used to own the Bobcats.
But even Robert Smith had a mentor. His mentor was the former chairman of Microsoft, a gentleman named John W. Thompson. All right. Now the last one, okay, Collegiate 100. You guys gotta help me out on this one. You gotta help me out on this one. Fayetteville's own J. Cole. Right? Who's J. Cole's mentor? Jay-Z. All right, okay. All right. See, I told you I had something for you, right? Okay. So when you think about all those individuals, accomplished billionaires, trailblazers, creating, miracles that have saved thousands and hundreds of lives, television stars, first black president, every single one of those individuals had a mentor, right? What else did they have in common? Okay, this is the audience participation part again.
Drive.
Yes, exactly. These individuals had someone who set a course for them. They had high integrity. They had self-discipline. They had perseverance. They had a vision. They had self-confidence. They were motivated, right? They were leaders in and of themselves. Psychologists say that there are three meta levels of leadership. Those three levels are leadership of self, leadership of others, and leadership of organizations or enterprises. So if you think about three circles, right? The inner circle, the bullseye, is leadership of self. That is the most important level of leadership. Because if you do not have a sense of purpose, if you do not have a vision of where you want to go, if you do not exhibit self-discipline, if you don't understand delayed gratification, if you're not willing to put the work in, right? I was listening to Mike Tomlin speak the other day. Mike Tomlin is the black coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was addressing a group of students. And his message was simply this: it is not about capability, but about willingness. He says, I know a lot of athletes who are capable. He says, I know a lot of people who are capable. They have the skills, they have the knowledge, they have the ability. But are they willing to do what it takes to succeed? Right? That is a reflection of leadership of self. So as a mentor, one of the things that you are trying to impart to your mentee is an understanding that that individual can and does control his or her own destiny. There's only one thing that we actually can control in our lives. Only one. And that's our attitude. Everything else is an illusion. Right? How many of you heard the old saying, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're probably right. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're probably right. Okay? So, I started this conversation by posing a question. I'm going to repeat the question again, and now it's time for you to give me an answer. All right? If you see a turtle on a fence post, what is the only thing you know for certain? Collegiate. Collegiate. Come on, my collegiate people. This could be a SAT or an ACT question. All right. Any thoughts? Any answers? Say again. Turtle had help. That's right. The turtle did not get there by itself. The turtle did not get there by itself. Robert Smith, $9 billion net worth. Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, Muhammad Ali, Dr. Charles Drew, Dr. W.B. Du Bois. The list goes on, and all these people benefited from having mentors. But every one of those people also mentored. They gave back, right? So the 100's motto, which is also our call to action, what they see is what they will be. Will you be the next Charles Drew? Will you be the next Robert Smith? Will you be the next Jay-Z? Will you be the next Ketanji Brown Jackson? Will you be the next founding members of the Cape Fear region of the 100 Black Men of Atlanta? And I'll leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. My favorite quote, again from another great Greek philosopher, and as a footnote, all these great Greek philosophers that you hear about, they were trained in Africa. They were trained in Kushite. Okay, just FYI. Aristotle, and this is my favorite quote, excellence is what you do every day. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. So think about that. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. You can't show up and be excellent on one thing and one time and then fall back into an acceptance of mediocrity, right? Why not? Because people are always watching. And it's not just the young folk. Your peers are watching, right? We always think about mentorship as there being an older person and a younger person. But that's not really the case, all right? We within the 100, we also have another saying, we call it mentoring across a lifetime, right? I've learned so much from this young man right here. I always make it a point when we have our 100 board meetings to try to sit next to him. That's not by accident, because there's a wealth of knowledge and information that he's walking around with that I want, and he freely shares it, right? So I hope I said something today that would enlighten you. I hope I said something today that entertained you, and I hope I said something today that inspired you. And if I didn't, then you got to blame Dr. Jamil Johnson, because he was the one that asked me to come in.
Yeah, let's give Brother Milner. Before we go, we want to ask Brother David Kemps if he would come up now. He has a presentation that he would like to make.
We thank God for this program today. The 100 Black Men We Are Mentoring program, mentoring students and helping out in the community. And there are things that we have done that was more than just mentoring, but providing educational experiences and opportunities to our community so that when you know better, you do better. For the last couple of activities we had some forums, candidates forums as well as a mayoral debate. And one of the candidates that was a candidate at that particular time, Malik Davis, he's here, newly elected councilman for District 2. But we have a certificate of appreciation, and this certificate is proudly presented to Bobby Hill, if he would come forward. Bobby Hill is not a member of the 100, but as soon as I needed some help with the candidate forum, I called Bobby Hill. And I said, Bobby Hill, I need your help. And he said immediately, what is it that I need to do? And I said that we want to have a forum. And so Bobby Hill said, I'm all in. He didn't understand what all in meant for me. I was a retired lieutenant colonel, so I was used to giving orders and waiting for the results to come back. I said, we need the candidates this particular day, and then I called him up to find out, did he get in contact with the candidates, who's going to show up, and what time they're going to be there. And he had all of that information. Then we did the mayoral debate, and when we were getting ready for the debate, we had to do it fast, and so I called him up and said, Brother Bobby Hill, I need you again. He said, what is it that you need? And he had a tendency of calling me Brother Bosselus. The past bosses, but he said, what is it that you need? I said, we want to have the mayoral debate. He said, okay, I'll go ahead and take it. I did the same thing. I turned it over to him, and not a member of the 100. And I know that he is very busy, and I told him, why don't you join the 100? And he said that his wife told him, look, you're going to have to pick one of these organizations you want to be a part of. But he was doing the work of the 100 Black men. This certificate is proudly presented to Bobby Hill. Thank you for your dedication to the Fayetteville-Cumberland County community. The 100 Black men recognize your dedication, hard work, and support you've shown in the most important event that took place this year, Election Day. Your tireless work ethics was invaluable to the success of our candidates forum and the City of Fayetteville mayoral debate. It was because of your efforts we had the largest turnout of the candidates and the largest turnout of the community. Thank you, signed A. Jamel Johnson, President, 100 Black Men, December 2nd, 2023. In the certificate you see black and gold and green. His wife's an AKA, and I know she had something to do with it, so we added the green for her.
Before we go, we want to share with Brother Milner some of the gifts that we gave to our founders. Thank you again, brother, for coming all the way to Atlanta. The reason why he was chosen to be our speaker at the national level at the 100, as you see on your program, he is the co-chair over the Leadership Institute. And I had the privilege of going through that Leadership Institute, which was about a 6-month program. And I can say that he is a very stern person in training on leadership. And so I learned so much, I thought that, as talking with the chapter, that this would be the person that we would invite to come to Fayetteville, North Carolina to share with us. So we hope that it will not be your last time, but this would be the time that you would come back again and again, and maybe in more academic kind of setting for some one-on-one kind of training.
Sure, yeah.